What's happening, guys? It's your boy TC back with another video. So we've got the small matter of navigating the Europa League game in Ukraine before the big match on Sunday against Tottenham, and this match really is going to be seeming a tiny little bit problematic in my opinion. So literally in the last few hours or so, it has been announced that the match has been moved from its original supposed venue, which would have been in Vorskla. However, due to some political issues taking place in Ukraine, the matches had to be moved to the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, and it will be played in Kiev now. But this announcement has only come in 48 hours prior to the match kicking off. So of course, around roughly about 500 Arsenal fans have been expected to travel out there. However, it doesn't look like a lot of them will make it across, purely because it's actually come quite late. A lot of the fans would have set off really before the announcement was actually made, and as mentioned, this is due to some political issues taking place in the Ukraine. So the Ukraine have imposed a some sort of martial law from the 27th of November all the way through to December, and that will be for roughly around a month, and that's obviously affected that match taking place. So the venue has been moved. For the team, of course, that wouldn't really matter in my opinion. The team can always divert and end up going to the actual venue that was supposedly meant to be playing in eventually, but it may hinder the preparations. But of course, this is not so much of an important game. Of course, every game is important. We do need to win every single game. We are on an extremely good run at the moment, 17 games unbeaten. So that's a fantastic record that we currently have in place. We don't want it to come to an abrupt end due to the lack of preparation or due to the changes that have taken place, etc. But of course, this is something that we can't help. Of course, the match needs to go on. There's nothing worse than having a postponed match and then having to play it later on, which will increase the fixture congestion, etc. As well as the fact that really I wasn't too happy with the stadium, the shape of Vorskla Stadium. So as you can see from the images going past the screen, the stadium was in a terrible state. And this was 48 hours prior to kickoff. It's extremely cold out there. It was minus 13 degrees Celsius, so I wasn't too happy with the conditions of the stadium. However, the stadium in Kiev slightly does have better conditions. Of course, the temperature won't make much of a difference, but in terms of the playing conditions, they will slightly be better than what were the initial proposed playing conditions. So let's talk about this game. Of course, we find ourselves top of this particular group in the Europa League. Of course, it's the second tier European competition. I'm not a fan of it, of course, but it's one of those competitions that you can't help but obviously try and enjoy in the early stages. However, it does get slightly interesting in the latter stages of the competition. Of course, last season I ended up enjoying it really roughly from the quarterfinals onwards. Found ourselves in the semi-finals and got beaten against Atletico Madrid. But this time round, it's going to be a difficult journey for us. There's better teams in the competition. The likes of Chelsea are involved in the competition as well, but chances are that we will end up facing some of the clubs that would have dropped out of the Champions League on this journey this season. But Unai Emery is an absolute veteran at this competition, won it back-to-back or 3 times really in a row in his career. So it's something that he's very familiar with, and I'm sure that his man management for this competition is very good, as well as the fact that this needs to come into play before Sunday. So of course we will be discussing the predicted starting 11, but I don't believe that Unai Emery will be taking a full strength squad out there. He might give some of the youngsters a chance to start within this particular game, but it's very crucial that we do have a fresh squad. No injuries whatsoever picked up from this particular match to face Tottenham on Sunday. Again, every game is important, but I do believe the game coming up on Sunday is much more important than any other games that we will be playing, or of course more important than this game that we will be playing on Thursday night. So the last time we faced Vorskla, last time out at the Emirates, we found ourselves 4-2 winners on the day. Of course, I didn't expect them to score any goals really, and I do remember making the review, and I think one of the goals came courtesy of a mistake from Lichtsteiner, But of course, at that point, it didn't really matter really. So we are unbeaten in this particular group. So last time out, Aubameyang scored. Danny Welbeck got on the score sheet, as well as Mesut Ozil on the day. So it was still win, but I didn't expect to concede a couple of goals on that particular match. We are unbeaten within this group. So we've won 3, drawn one of those games. And I think that was against Sporting Lisbon last time out. But it doesn't really matter. We are table toppers at the moment. So all we do need really is one more win and we'll definitely be guaranteed that top spot. And as it stands, Sporting Lisbon are sitting on 7 points and they are in second. We have 10 points and we are sitting at top of this particular group. Vorskla, 3 points. Karabag are sitting at the bottom of the group with just 3 points as well. So it's going to be an extremely important game, of course, moving forward within this particular group. If we do come top of the group, yes, it'll do the confidence of wonders. However, it will give us slightly an easier route within the last 32 of this particular competition. So let's just talk about my predicted starting 11 for this particular match. So as mentioned, there's that important game on Sunday. Who does Unai Emery take out there? Of course, Mesut Ozil was missed out during the game against Bournemouth. He stayed on the bench, never came on as a substitute. So it's going to be an interesting one to see if he does play or even travel with the team for this game. Of course, important player within the team, but it doesn't seem as if Unai Emery is quite keen on Mesut Ozil, but we will see how this one develops. Unai Emery made some slight comments about Mesut Ozil being omitted from the squad, or being omitted from the game, I should say, against Bournemouth after the game in his post-match conference, but we'll be touching on that really in a bit more detail in a future video. However, let's just talk about some injuries. So we've got Lacazette, who's a doubt due to a groin injury. Nacho Monreal is also a doubt due to a hamstring injury. Mavropanos, groin injury, still out, hasn't featured for the season. Laurent Koscielny did play for the under-23s on Monday, so I don't know if he's going to be fit. I do believe that he may travel with the team and we might see him feature in this game for the first time this season. Yet to be seen. Danny Welbeck, of course, we know he's got the long-term injury. Steph Lichtsteiner, of course, he's suffering from a hamstring injury as it stands. So let's just talk about my predicted starting 11. Of course, we've mentioned Koscielny. I do believe Petr Cech will be the starting goalkeeper. I do believe as well Petr Cech has been phased out now as the starting goalkeeper at the club. It's now Bernd Lerner who's our number 1. So I'm sure that Petr Cech will be starting within this game. At right back, again, interesting option. We might see Carl Jenkinson feature. Not too sure, but that may be the case. The central defensive pairing, it looks like Emery might stick with Mustafi and Socrates. I'm not too sure how this one plays out. We might need Rob Holding fresh for the game on Sunday. At left back, we might see Maitland-Niles starting at left back. I'm not too sure. Or we might actually have that young Spanish defender that we saw playing in the Carabao Cup. I really can't pronounce his name, but we might see him actually travelling with the team. In the middle of the park, chances are, if Maitland-Niles is not playing on the left back position, he might start in the midfield position or the midfield areas. El Neni, I do believe he might be travelling and starting that game as well, due to the fact that we need Xhaka and Torreira fresh for Sunday. That long journey won't do them any favours really if they do travel with the team and actually participate within this game. Up top, I do believe that Ramsey might start. Might also see Smith Rowe, Iwobi, and of course we might also see Aubameyang having to play, but we don't have any strikers out there, or the manager might be brave enough and actually start Edin Ketia up there. Not too sure how this one's going to pan out, but I do believe that we need some players fresher for the game on Sunday. So that's obviously my rough draft predicted starting 11 for the day. Yet to be seen if the manager will go that way. But as soon as the game is finished, we'll definitely be bringing you a review. However, as usual, guys, please do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. So once again, guys, it's your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV, and I'm out.